All right, welcome to day 38 of raising funds for world domination. And we already got a chat here from Rayan. Hello again. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. So tonight we're going to continue with what we do every night. I won't do the intro. That's getting tired now. Let's jump right into it. So we'll continue on with development of the block mining simulation game. Oh yeah, we're June already. All right, let's run the game. So tonight, I'm probably going to try and implement the ability to resize the frames at runtime. Like increasing or decreasing the width or height. So the game boots, seems to work. No crashes. What is this? This is, I'll show you exactly what it is. So this is a stream that I've been doing for the last 38 days now. Between projects, I've been doing a bit of development work on the block mining simulation game. So what you're looking at here is the terminal-based block mining game. And the game, this is the entire game loop. So you wander around, you spam the M key, and use that to mine blocks in an infinite, procedurally generated universe. And so the recent thing I added is the ability to open frames and things. It looks like we've got a rendering bug there. Is it a mobile game? Nope. It's played in the terminal. So currently the only platform that I'm supporting is just a default Ubuntu Linux. Still remember how to make a CPU video. Yeah, that was a popular video. It's finally starting to slow down a bit. But what's it at now? Like, I think 11 or 12 million. So that's good. I taught at least a few people how to make their own CPUs. Okay, that looks like that works. So now let's add some message types. If I know half as much as the situation needs, maybe I'll be half as ready as I deserve. If I know half as much as the situation needs, I'll be half as ready as I deserve. Being half as ready as you deserve. That statement almost sounds like a like a conflation of two common aphorisms or something. But I'll take your word for it. What Java version do you use? Currently, I'm using Java 21. I recently, for a while, was on Java 17, but I recently made the push to try and update just for I don't know, to have access to the newer things. Eventually, I'll be forced to upgrade, so might as well do it now. Do you know anything about the company called Futo? Any opinions? I've never heard of that. What exactly do they do? If your knowledge is only half of what's required for a situation, your readiness will be proportionally inadequate. Anyone have a lighter? Nope, don't smoke. That's a common question that I get when I go for a walk. People always ask me if I got a lighter. If your knowledge is only half of what's required for a situation, your readiness will only be exactly half then. Resize frame, work item. If only you had a lighter while on a walk. Actually, I'm glad I don't have a lighter. Usually people that ask me randomly if I have a lighter, I'm like, good thing I don't have a lighter, so I don't have to share it with them. Because otherwise, if I did, you're legally required to share your lighter with someone who asks. Viom Alt says Diddy. All right. Thank you for your contribution. The moon is almost half the night. God's fingernail. That's one way to think about it, I guess. What are you doing? I am working on writing a terminal-based game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. Let's see, I just did a bit of work here. Hopefully this will compile. Let's test it. Joe Schmo says, hello, sir. How's it going? There we go. Compiled the first try. So this is the game, and the entire game loop is you wander around an infinite universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks. And that's it. There's nothing else. And right now I'm working on improving the user interface before I add more gameplay features. The best part of a walk is finding new friends. The lighter might be the key. Spam the M key. Yeah, I've often thought that I think a lot of the reason that smokers smoke is not actually to smoke. It's because it's like it gives you like an excuse to be standing around and doing nothing. Like if you imagine the social significance of just like during break time, if people went out back in the cold and just like stood there together, but they weren't smoking, and then just talk to each other, like that would be unusual. But if you have a smoke, you're like, oh, I'm not here to talk to you. I'm just here to smoke. And then people become friends. Here I am playing it. Oh, are you playing the terminal-based game? Nice. Is it? Does it work? I think only like 2 or 3 people have actually tried it. I think the latest release version is quite a bit different than what it is like now. The latest master branch, there's a bunch of performance issues. Like if I move navigate up for a while, it lags really bad, and if I take my finger off the key, it's quite slow. I got to do some work to. I introduced some things to make it more accurate, so it doesn't. When you're resizing frames, it doesn't mess up as much. But that has also inadvertently caused some performance issues. Taking notes like a nerd. All right. I guess if you find the discussion tonight noteworthy, then that's good. I don't think it's particularly educational. A lot of the code is. It's not much of a coding lesson. I'm not really explaining what I'm doing too super well. Resize frame work item. So that works. Let's see. That'll be in. Trying to think about how to do the help menu. Why are you making this completely in Linux? Well, I guess the question is what else would I make it in? I don't use Windows. I haven't used Windows in like 10 years. Mac, I've actually never used a Mac in my life. Yeah, it works, but what happens is when I spam, the forward key will just continue until the signal queue ends. Sometimes I want to stop, but I would not stop until the signal queue finishes. I mean, like it only accepts the second input only after the spam queue ends. So are you running the latest commit? The like commit I did like yesterday or today? Friends don't let friends use Apple products. Okay, so the latest is actually not the performance. It is a bad performance issue, which I also noticed that like it's and it's because I'm changing how the printing works. So it's doing I recently changed it so it's doing synchronous printing operations, but I need to like change it around so it's not there's a way to I can optimize it. The other way is I think I may actually have to add a like a bit block transfer thing, which will if I do it that way, that should actually offload a bunch of the work onto the individual threads, so that way the console writing thread is not going to be lagging so much, and it'll be pushed off in other threads, and that'll make it faster. But so if you run one of the jar files, if you look at the releases section on the GitHub and you run one of the jar files, that version has much better performance. But I don't have the frame stuff is not in there at all, or the like help menu and all that kind of stuff, that's not in there. But it should be in terms of the game logic and playability, and the game content is the same. Oh, it is the jar? Oh, I see. So you mean like the, I think what was it, 0.06 release, or is it because if the background color looks like this approximately, or if the help menu is present, then you're probably on the newer version, and that version has performance issues. But if you're on an older version, and if you just downloaded one of the jars, then you're on an old version that should be better. The one with a little bit of blue, like dark blue. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. So the latest version, I started using standard ANSI color sequences. So on Linux anyway, this is the standard black color. Can I download this? Or is it a beta? So there's a link in the link to the GitHub in the description. I already forgot the options. If you consider to go in the direction of projects that solve user problems, games are great to write, but unfortunately the market is oversaturated, especially for indie games. Actually, that was kind of that was my original thing that I did for the last 10 years, which is to bootstrap a company. I initially thought I could go after market for just general custom software. Well, you need to focus. I started with a focus on like building web. My initial pitch was focus on building like web software for visualizations and analytics and tables and stuff like that. Because I found it in my undergraduate experience, all the co-ops I did, they almost always involved building something like that, and almost every company, actually, in fact, most of the contracts that I got actually involved doing something like that. Of course, I did that for 10 years, though, and if you watch my How to Become a 37-Year-Old Broke Loser video, then in that video I just explained really at length the reason why I have not pursued that. It's mainly because there's tons of people pursuing projects like that, like B2B software. And in my opinion, succeeding at that kind of business now is not at all a software development problem. It's completely a marketing problem. So if you don't have a massive audience, if you don't raise, at least a few $100,000 in venture capital to actually build a market and advertise, then you will not be successful. Whereas it's like a small indie game is actually possible to build like an incremental audience on something like this. Whereas for a like homebrew accounting system, it's not quite as entertaining for like kind of a consumer audience. How to center a div. I would say, let's see, what do I usually do? I guess you have to make sure it's a display block or display inline. And then I would usually do margin right auto, margin left auto. And then make sure you set a fixed width on it. Do you do any small configuration for Vim? I do not do any custom Vim configuration. I never set my Vim configuration at all. How about you try NeoVim? Many people have recommended that, and it's on my to-do list. But unfortunately, there's just so many other things going on in my life right now that as soon as I stop the stream, I immediately forget everything that everyone told me on stream. It's like coming into a different universe. As soon as I started the stream, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to put all those AI models and stuff that people asked me to try. I've been a mobile app developer for the last 2 years. I decided to quit job and bootstrap project. In the edgy space, money in the job is nice, but we were making projects for the startup investors. Even if I won't succeed financially, I want to create a tool that is useful for the community. And this feeling of solving a problem gives me happiness. I I so absolutely agree with that sentiment. In my opinion, like the whole reason why I based my entire life and career around this is because I think that technology can absolutely solve problems and make people, free people from tedious labor and automate things, and we can all live in a utopia. But unfortunately, there's so many issues with the funding models and the whole pump and dump models of venture capital funded companies. And if you're interested, I have some videos on some of the topics of my from my 10 years of trying to independently bootstrap a software consulting business, which in the last year or so I've concluded it's not viable. And then also the economy has changed quite a bit. It has changed and is changing very rapidly right now, ever since COVID and the AI stuff, and so there's tons of just tons of unproductive nonsense. People chasing fads, and a lot of people want to get rich, and I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I want to get rich too, but there's so much money is being invested to just give the appearance of something productive, so that you can build a company, sell it to Google. Get the whole goal is to just get acquired by Google and cash out. And there's, in fact, building a useful product is actually almost against that thesis. You have to put as much money as possible into marketing, getting users, trying to make it seem like your user base is more monetizable than they are. And then around that, among I think in the wider space of independent businesses, there's a lot of people that try to behave, a lot of small, bootstrapped, non-venture capital funded startups that try to behave like venture capital funded startups. And when you do that, that doesn't work very well, because a lot of the strategies and growth models that work if you have money and venture capital coming in, and especially if you're actually planning to raise multiple rounds, because if you are planning from day one to do a Series A and Series B and blah blah blah, you can actually run your business in a way such that it is probably going to run out of money, but then because now you actually expect you're going to have an investment round and you're going to bring in new capital, whereas if you want to bootstrap, then that's not in the cards, and then you run out of money. And there's also lots of hype stuff that venture capital funded startups can and do. That doesn't work if you just don't have the budget for it. Try going about plus 100y, and then try going right. Plus 100y. I mean Z. You mean at the origin? The seed value actually should be the same. So the game, the map area you have should be identical to mine. It should be deterministic. Okay, so we're going. My comment got filtered. Yep, I got the auto filter on. You said something that Google didn't like. So are you saying go to a specific coordinate? Hareth? Did you get the same error? that fog of war new? So this, so actually I changed the colors, so there's no new gameplay features. This out here is, so the U's, that's uninitialized, and the question marks out in the edge here, that's unknown. So this will, the question marks will reappear for anywhere that that hasn't been loaded into memory, and for the U chunks, that's the uninitialized. Once those are initialized, they don't have to get initialized again. Maybe the problem on my device. So what coordinate were you at? Is there any message, say like null pointer exception or something? Does the initialized space get indexed into local storage? Yes. So currently I'm using SQLite. SQLite, but you can also hook it up. We just change the connection string, and it'll hook up to Postgres. Yeah, initialized and unknown indicators are a cool feature. It really adds to the aesthetic vibe. Yeah, it was. I think it's useful for even if not anything, just for debugging, for like trying to figure out like if a square doesn't load or something, to know if it's stuck uninitialized or hasn't loaded. Oh, I went too far. So you said go to. You said go to z equals 100. If there's some kind of crash that happens, let me know about it. So I'm at z equals 100. So z equals 100. Let's go to y equals 100. No issues I can see here. Ugh. OMG. It would look cool if those initialized blocks were given a random special character or Chinese or something. Yeah, I guess I could make them more interesting. Where are the funds? I want to see the funds. I have them in a pile, safely stashed away. Okay, that's where I was. Actually, no, I think I did, at one point I did try adding like another, like the red question mark character or something. And I found it was actually kind of just too obnoxious. Like it just, it took, I don't know, it was very eye-catching, and the kind of subtle just U character, just, it's something you can kind of easily ignore. Yes, many angels on the floor every night thinking about the deep water port. Yep, it's true. I mean, if you span the forward and you go more than 100 before they get initialized, the MC will keep going until everything is loaded. That might be an issue on I'm not sure how fast your computer is, but I have, there's actually some like quite a bit, there's a lot of like multi-threading and stuff in this, and if certain aspects, like I've noticed when I tried this before on a fairly slow computer, it behaved like quite different, and there were certain like lag problems that I got that I didn't experience on other machines. The other thing is, so I'm not 100% sure which version you have. If you press the escape, do you see a help menu like this? Your life story is very interesting. I met a guy who'd have chosen the path of big corporation, and he regrets it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people regret going into big tech and getting lost in there. I'm at the beginning of my career, and I still don't know which path I should choose. Personal project resonates with me more. However, it's much harder to have a living from it. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of, my perspective is kind of like, it almost doesn't matter. Like, if I had gone into a full-time, I probably would have a bit more money, but I also probably would have been so miserable. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to keep doing it. I probably would have, like, you know, given that I did what I did anyway, I probably would have only stayed a couple of years at max and then dropped out to start my business. And then I probably would have had the same, I probably would have blown through a lot of money on, you know, marketing or something like that. I probably would have wasted the money. I would have still started a business and then just burned through money with higher operating costs, trying to be more aggressive. And maybe I'd be in a similar position. It's not sure. Maybe if I had the cash, I would have tried a different type of business that would have succeeded. In some ways, it's almost like most path. Like, I can either be miserable doing what I'm doing for myself, or I can be miserable working in a corporate tech job. You know, or I could, if you want to like rationalize, be like, oh well, it's whatever makes you happy, and if you enjoy what you're doing, that's all that matters. But then again, it still sucks being poor and struggling all the time. So it's hard. I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too, and it's really hard. So you can choose to be miserable or happiness, or you can choose to be miserable or happy, regardless of where you go. Yes, but you have 4 options. Okay, so there is a help menu. Okay, so if there's a help menu in the version that you're using, you're probably actually I can just pull up the all right, so here's the repo. So if you just totally build it from source, if you run the latest, like if you're on the, like if you're probably on the, you know, one of these things, that version, there's performance issues, some really significant performance problems, and that's because of some recent stuff I committed, and I'm refactoring it. Now, if you want a faster version, so it has the same gameplay, but it doesn't have the help menu. If you go into the releases and Where is it here? One of those is the jar. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that one there is the jar. So if you use this version has is much faster. It's the latest version in main. Yeah, that's the one with probably performance issues. But if you just download the jar, or I guess you could also clone the repo. I agree with you. I've logged 250 hours in May for the project. I would never worked this much in the company. Yeah, it's I mean, it definitely it makes you. It just feels better to not be a rat in a cage. You know, even if you're like if you fail miserably, it's like a different kind of the psychological process of failing for yourself is less humiliating if you tried to do something and it didn't work, versus if you work for a company and it's just like grinding away and then the company fails and it's bad leadership and you're like, hey, maybe we could do this, and then no one listens to you. And but yeah, if you're at the start of your career, I'd say watch some of my videos. If you go to my channel, I've said this a few times. I need to make a consulting a playlist. So yeah, I would say I guess a lot of the stuff in my videos are negative, but personally, I would like there to be more entrepreneurship in the world. So, you know, I encourage you on your entrepreneurial journey. But what you can do is just take some of the things I've said and like add that to your knowledge base, and then hopefully you can kind of adapt that to not have the same problems that I did. Because if you know, just knowing what game you're playing allows you to avoid being screwed. Can my time learning Linux security and understanding it deep pay off? Can I get an intern? If I get an intern, yeah, I mean, the more you learn, the more qualified you are to get a job. But it all depends on if you're going to get access to that job and get the visas and get the interviews with the company and et cetera, et cetera. In the beginning, experiencing as many variants of the industry as possible is a must. Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you base your worldview too much on like a small number of samples, then you might have a distorted view of reality. Poland, it's 4:30 a.m. right now. I'm going to sleep. Have a good coding session. Have a good night. 4 a.m. 4:30 a.m. It's a late night coding session. I love Brew. Whoever made this, I love you. You mean Brew? Brew is in the package manager, I think, that Mac uses. What is the plan? Once the game is done. Oh, it'll never be done. Any kind of official release planned? I'm kind of hoping to just get it like this whole crazy like framing system and stuff, to get that implemented. And I wanted to get just the ability to like resize and open frames and stuff like that. That's a really critical issue for like all forms of future development. And then there's also some serious issues with performance, and I was thinking about how I should maybe solve those. I don't want to like be refactoring this forever, but I'm hoping, like, I don't know, maybe in a week or two I could kind of wrap this up. And then because right now I've been working on it every day, so my mind is very fresh, so it's much easier to implement this now than if I get away from it, and then I'll completely forget how all the code works. But yeah, I guess I'll do like another kind of official release of it, and then I got to make some more videos on various topics. Maybe I'll even make a video about this, about some of the latest features that it supports. Make a YouTube short, which is a trailer for the game. That's actually a good idea. I need to make more. I need to just put out a whole bunch more videos. I spent like a couple of weeks on that high quality one, and it's only got 9,000 views. I gotta make like a whole bunch of slop content. I gotta make like 100 videos or something, and then just spam YouTube and get it to make all of them go viral and bring in $100,000. You won't believe this insane game you can play in the terminal free. Free download. Download now. Let's see. All right, that's what it's supposed to do. Oh, we got no back. We need more sassy shorts. Like, do not download this game. Only broke losers play it. I make some more ranty videos. I think the another catchy one is stop pirating my video game, guys. I'm so angry right now. People are pirating my video game. Do you use Wi-Fi on your streaming setup or wired? I recently went wired on all your big machines. I don't think I'll ever go back. I try to not use wireless Wi-Fi ever if I have the choice. The performance difference is so much more significant, and also for doing like video stuff. I found if you having 100 megabit networking, if you have a router that can support that, that is like much. If you do any kind of file moving, that's much more preferable. What version of Java does your game work with? This is on version 21 right now, Java 21. Until recently, it was on. I think if you actually just if you clone the latest, like the 0.06 version, it's only recently that I upgraded from 17 to 21. This game caused a riot in Louisiana last night. This game has been declared illegal in Axel Hamburg by potential investors. Yeah, this is all good material. Okay, that is done. Let's commit here. I'm going to rename that function. Let's see. Trump wants you to place a tariff on this game, but the courts decided against it. Scientists are trying to find a cure for addicts of this game. Yeah, this is perfect content marketing. Let's see if that works. All right, now I just need a method for on the splits or on the let's see, what is it? It's going to be on oh, it has to be on the parent split. Because if you tell a frame to resize on, if you tell the root frame to resize, it can't get bigger than the terminal. Dangerous, problematic, troubling, divisive, unhinged, crashed out, sensational. I don't know, if you go too overboard on the clickbait, you get banned. It's a difficult art. You've got to do things that are like interesting that people want to click on. But then like a lot of places, if you like, especially if you look at Hacker News or something, I guess you just can't really see the shadow ban stuff on YouTube, because by definition you can't find it. But if you go on like Hacker News or something and check the like the stuff that doesn't make the front page, there's a lot of like really clickbait stuff. But if it's too clickbait, it goes over the edge and it gets moderated. So I forgot one of the main steps, and that is to need to translate the frame. I basically need to go from a frame ID to the split leaf node split that it's in, and then go to its parent, and then instruct its parent to increase the percentage. Has anyone used Obsidian? Obsidian for organization? I have not. Linux extremist uses stock Vim to create masterpiece block mining game. So this is a very simple thing that I want to do, but I don't have, I need to figure out how to do it without creating like a million different utility functions that'll all have errors in them. Coding without being able to fold lines is mind-boggling. Yeah, my I mean, this screen isn't too bad, but I guess if you look at it on another monitor, it's not as bad. Although I'm a 0.7 XDev, I mean, it's questionable if my method is the right one. What exactly is it that you're working on? Currently, I'm working on the ability to resize frames. So if you, okay, it's on the screen. So anyway, when I run the game, I want to be able to resize the frame. So this frame would go over that way, or it would go over that way. So that's what the help menu looks like. So we go into this option, and I'm just going to implement that, and I need to figure out a way. It's an easy problem to solve, but I'm just thinking, but how do I need to find the parent of something in a tree. And I've got like 10 million utility functions, and I'm trying to think out how do I what is the smartest way to write a function that does what I want, but I don't want to write 5 million more utility functions. Because I have to go from the frame, figure out what split the frame is in, and then go to the parent of that leaf node, and then tell it to increase the size by 1. Ask GPT, and it'll just be like, binary search trees are a great way to do this. You can do it by doing this general thing, or look at me some like general tree code. Like I could just copy and paste some tree code from Wikipedia, but then I gotta like change the variable names and might even have like a data structure that already has this information in it. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. It's like, have I coded this before? I don't want to like write the exact same function again. I guess I'll just make a map. It just iterates through all of the frames, or all of the leaf nodes. A map from long to long. Do you batch process your SQL statements when saving initialized space? I forget exactly what the latest thing I did was with the latest version of code is. I remember that was a very significant thing I spent a bunch of time on. Actually, some of the first like live streaming I did play testing the game was I would work on it a bit and then play test it. And I consistently found problems. I was actually just running it locally on this computer, which has a very slow hard drive, and I had a lot of lots of bad performance issues with the write commits being very slow. So I do think I ended up batching them. Bloop, bloop. Is that the sound that your computer makes? Let's see if that compiles. That's why. Right, that did not crash. That is good. Now let's see if this crashes. So now we've got the ID of the leaf node split that contains that frame. And the next step is to go to get the ID of the parent split that contains that node, if there is one. And then implement a method to actually do the resizing on the appropriate I guess that'll only apply to multi-splits. Me and my fellow comrades. These are some fairly random contributions. But I accept them nonetheless. Agam Mahar says, hello, how's it going? All right, I think that's what I want. Child to parent split ID map. Man, I hated Python until I used it in my automation. But other than that, in prototyping, I don't see any other use than that. It is used quite a bit in like data science, and people use Python quite a bit for like low fidelity. As you mentioned, for prototyping. So people use it a lot for prototyping, like numerical models, statistical or math research and stuff. But also for like AI research, it's really huge for that. And there's all these projects like Theano and stuff. And actually, that was a long time ago that I used that project called Theano. I don't know if that's how relevant that is, but there's like a million like NumPy and all these numerical, all of these numerical packages and stuff. Although because it's Python, in my view, like some of the math in those is kind of sketchy, because I've used some of those packages before, and you do something simple like change something that's just like go from like 32-bit to 64-bit, and then like all your numbers change because there's totally different rounding errors and stuff, or like random NumPy methods where you'll pass in something like in a way that it's not technically not supported, but then you upgrade a version, and then instead of getting back a number, you get like an empty array back, but it like silently still runs, so it just gives you wrong answers. What is your opinion on Rust? I've never used Rust. A lot of people recommend Rust to me. There's some people who are very evangelical about it. It does seem to be getting a bunch of traction. If I was going to learn another like systems language, I would maybe opt for Go. I kind of question the longevity of Rust, but the whole borrow checker feature thing does seem like a decent idea. I know continuing to develop like systems software in C or something is, I think, kind of insanity. I've written enough C and done like string concatenation in C to conclude it's not a it's not an intelligent thing to do. Like if you're really a 10x elite programmer, I don't think you're going to spend in this day and age. I don't think you're going to spend your days and nights string concatenating in C or C++. Actually, is that Python? This is Java. But I think the smart pointers in C++ can solve so many problems. Honestly, I never got too much into the more advanced features of C++. Java Air? Not sure. System software equals native? I'm not sure I understand the question. When you say system software, is that the same as native code? I can't. I'm probably not a good person to ask to like give you the industry standard definition. But when I say system software, I mean kind of like the so software that is running on your desktop. So that is contrasted from software that is running on your desktop computer in the context of like a managed user operating system, and that is contrasted from, say, something not JavaScript. So JavaScript runs inside of the browser or virtual machine, and also contrasted from something like an embedded system, where effectively at a level, when you write embedded system software, you're basically writing the operating system from scratch. You generally write your embedded systems firmware, and it's complete access to the entire memory model. So the kind of whatever's kind of in between those two extremes, where you can do anything. You can write unrestricted stuff, but like in Java, you're very restricted. You can't access peripherals and stuff like that. But on a desktop system, you can make files and still break the system to some extent. Native code. I don't know. I don't recall. I don't remember enough what people mean when they refer to native code. It's nice to see you guys. Have a good night if you're assuming you're taking off. Software that will run on Linux only, for example. I guess the word native could probably be used in a lot of different contexts to mean different things. Maybe there is an industry standard definition that I'm not super aware of, but I usually assume it's yeah, like you say, like native. I would assume native would imply some kind of aspect of the software that it only runs in a certain place. But something like, when I think about like a systems language, I would say something like Java, Rust, Go, I guess C or C++. Python could be one of those, but I would say it's not. Python is not a great language for writing extremely large, like enterprise pieces of software. Like if you have some batch processing job that runs once per day and it has to run perfectly and do all these calculations and stuff, I don't think I'd want to write that in Python. I'd probably prefer in some other language with much stronger typing. But I guess in that sense, you probably could consider Python systems language if you want to. I think I'm consistent with the industry on that. I don't know, maybe. I sometimes I Google stuff like that and I find that I'm using the word totally wrong. Daniel Wayne says, howdy. How's it going? Hermath Bisht says, what is happening here? Your title telling you to dominate the world by raising funds. You're doing programming here. Yep. And it all starts with a computer program. The computer program will help me raise more funds. And then I can buy an uninhabited northern island. And also raising some funds. I'm hoping for someone to send me $12 billion in a super chat so I can start building a deep water port up in northern Canada. Then I can build my own country. I need glasses apparently. I can barely read that. What you working on? I'm working on a terminal-based game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. And currently I'm working on some changes to the user interface to make it so you can resize some of the user interface. Let's see. Thinking about how to make this not contain errors. A game to mine blocks. You're working on user interface. Yeah, if you skip around earlier in the stream, you'll see some examples of what it looks like when I run it. Yep, mining blocks is in like in a mine, in an underground mine, like iron ore and stuff. No, I get it, but could you please tell me about yourself in short? What do you do beside this YT channel? Are you a software developer? About 10 years ago, I started my own one-person software consulting business. And then around Christmas, I posted my viral How to Become a 37-Year-Old Broke Loser video, where I described my difficulties and went through a bunch of example contracts. And I talked about how I've concluded it's no longer I no longer believe it's a viable business model. I don't think it ever was. And right now, I'm just kind of doubling down on whatever produces growth. So right now, producing YouTube content seems to be the most consistent way to build business revenue. And the recent thing, I've had a bunch of daily distractions, so I decided to try to do streaming every day for a while. And I'm currently I have momentum on this this game, which is a kind of a longer term project, and I'm going to try to get it to the next milestone, and then ship it, and then maybe get back to focusing on long form content. I thought you meant like blockchain stuff. Nope, like iron ore, and just like little squares on the screen. You spam the M key to mine them. Good to hear. Yes, if you are interested in entrepreneurship at all, you may find some of the videos on my channel interesting. I'm glad this popped up on my feed. Thanks for the kind words. I don't have money to give you, but I'll pray for your great future. Thank you. IRS and US apparently made the direct file open source. Too bad Doge is shutting it down. Direct file. Okay. Yeah, I know they were going to try and clean up their tax system and make it easier to file, but I'm not sure how far they got on that. I know that those like tax prep companies, TurboTax and stuff, lobbied against it. There's a lot of money in charging people money to pay taxes. Actually, I'm working on my corporate taxes now. It's going to cost me like $2,000 to file. Doge is killing free tax files. So if you want to file electronically, you have to use one of the private filing companies. Interesting. Isn't that the opposite thing they're supposed to do? I don't know. The whole system is like so corrupt. I don't know. How do you get out all the corruption and waste? It's I don't know, it's a difficult question. How do you bootstrap a fair system from an unfair system? Okay, that almost might do the thing. Although it's not quite accurate, but that should change it, plus or minus 10%. Zero says, hi, how's it going? Oh, that's what I did wrong. I realized that this is the general way to make this work is a little bit more that I have to do, but this will maybe be good for tonight. Wow. 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 Nice. Yo, how's it going? Well, that's probably why. So what's your plan? Plan for world domination? The plan is to get someone to give me a super chat for $12 billion. Then I can use that super chat to start building a deep water port up in an uninhabited island in northern Canada called Axel Heiberg. And then we're going to build a new society there. And it's going to have no problems. Like all those problems you see on the news, we're not going to have any of those. And we're going to have really high GDP. And it's going to be great. It's supposed to not do that. Isn't it only like 11.999? Actually, that's a good point. If I had time to waste on a million things, I'd like work on making my stream UI better, and then I would actually have like a running total. For a while, I did actually keep track of the days, but it's all saved in the VOD. But At some point, I'll do a retrospective of how much was raised in total for world domination. You know what? I probably don't want this to be 0. How long have you been raising? 38 days. You can go back and check all the VODs for every single day. I haven't missed one day. Your plan is amazing, but how are we going to find that person with 12 billion? I don't know. I figured if I just keep streaming every day, eventually, maybe it'll be on day 39, maybe on day 100, maybe on day like 5,760, someone will come along. It's just a matter of time. As long as you show the dedication, someone will believe in me. In the meantime, I can just work on my game. And then once that's released, that'll bring in, a couple billion, I think. Now if I can just get it to stop crashing. This is not very robust, but we're just prototyping the feature now. Your video kept popping up on my feed, and today I'm glad I decided to click on this. Excellent. That means the YouTube algorithm is doing its job. Nice. No crashes. It's like we got a real user interface now. Pretty cool. There's a glitch there in the user interface. That's one of the other things I've been trying to fix. I mean, like, it was day 12 when I first saw your video, and from that day, I was seeing it every day. Huh, interesting. I guess YouTube honestly is really good at finding how to recommend stuff. Because honestly, I've kind of, I'm live streaming on the internet. I'm mentally prepared for people to come in and be like, this is stupid, what are you doing? But there's surprisingly positive and wholesome reactions. People come in, they're like, wow, I really like this stream, which is surprising. I don't think it's a very good stream. It's kind of boring. You're just watching someone code. But yeah, and the YouTube algorithm is good at finding people. It's good at figuring out exactly what we want. All right, I think I've made a decent amount of progress on this tonight. This feature, there's actually some issues with the feature that I'm gonna have to work on to kind of generalize it, but the whole control flow is good. So I think I may leave it there for tonight. We'll call it a night tonight, and then we'll begin the fundraising again tomorrow for day 39. So with that, have a good night, everybody.